one of my goals this year is to start taking this YouTube channel more seriously without too much pressure. Like I'm taking this as a hobby and I don't want it to meddle with other things in my life. So yeah, welcome to Mocha with Books. So I thought it would be fun to make the book to Nubita. So I took some notes to answer the question. Why did you start this channel? Well, mostly because I want to share the books I read and talk about them. I don't have many people around me who read as much as I do. So I thought it would be fun to share it somehow. I came to the balcony because the weather today is super nice and I'm starting to regret it. Second question. What are some fun, unique things you can bring to book two? I don't know. Well, something that I do that I don't see other booktubers do is that I pick whole series to read so I can read the whole story. For example, last year I read the Dune series, I read the Illuminate Files, and I tend to buy the entire series to read instead of just reading the first one or reading one book and then a few years later read the sequel and stuff. So that's something I like to do. Also, since I don't speaking in English regularly. That's why I also just to start this channel in English so I can use it as well, like practice more. What I do is I read one book in English, one Spanish, and so on. What are you most excited for about this new channel? My idea is once the channel starts growing, I want to start streaming maybe once a week to chat about books, what they are reading, to get more recommendations. Something that I struggle with a lot is getting like good recommendations of books that I'll actually like. I'm a bit tired of the books that everyone is talking about. I found this last year I read many popular books and I found out that I get why they are popular, but I'm not really into them. Like I struggle a lot reading them. They're just not my thing. And having a community around that have great recommendations. I also want to hear those who are like the total opposite of what I read and maybe expand a bit of my reading world. Why do you love reading? What I love about reading is we are sometimes so enclosed in our own experiences that reading about the human experience and see what someone else's struggles are, it's what makes me want to keep reading. What book or series got you into reading? The first book that I remember reading and then that I actually asked my mother to buy me was The Little Prince. And it is actually my favorite book of all times because every time I read it at different stages in my life and I always found something that resonated with me. Yeah, that's my all-time favorite book. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I feel like I mostly would ask them how they get their ideas. I know that most people like see what's popular and try to make content about that, but there are some that have so many creative ideas that I would love to ask them like where do they find that inspiration. I feel like the ideas that I come up with are pretty standard. So yeah, 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome of this? Like speaking in front of a camera and expressing myself because I struggle a lot with public speaking. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to practice that as well. I feel like this will help me with that awkwardness. When I'm editing, it's hard to like look at myself and not be like, why did I sit that way? Why am I looking like that? So it is. That's I feel like it's the hardest part. When did you start reading? When I started feeling more comfortable reading larger texts, around 8 years old, I would say. Like it was when I bought the Red Prince book. So yeah, I would say that's around that time. 9. Where do you read? Mostly sitting on my desk. I want to start reading here on the balcony because now it's summer here and the weather is today is beautiful, but sometimes it's unbearable. So we'll see about that. Those are the places when traveling, on my desk, on the bed. Those are the main places. What kind of books do you like to read? I love fantasy. I feel like I haven't found the good fantasy series for a while now. I love the Love with a Passion, A Song of Ice and Fire saga. Yes, we all want him to finish, but I would rather him take his time and not give us some trashy book. So it's okay. I overcome this urge for him to finish the series. I hope he does though. Science fiction. I love science fiction. I want to get more into mysteries and stuff. I haven't read many of them. I have mystery books that I love and some that I hated, so I'm a bit on the fence about that genre, but I want to read more about it. I do read a lot of romance. I'm a bit tired of it as of now, but I do like them. Cozy books, fantasy, but more like high stakes. I haven't read cozy fantasy, but I don't think it'll be my thing. And sci-fi are mostly what I gravitate towards. And the last question, what does your book collection look like? I would love to do a small tour, but now I'm living in a small apartment, so my book collection is all over the place. I have most of my collection in my siblings' house. I'll ask them to send me a picture so I can show at least a bit of it. So I hope you found this video interesting and maybe you choose to stay to see where the channel goes. Thank you for watching this part. Bye.